Hey, so today we are going to replace these kitchen countertops with some new quartz ones. If you want to see what that's like, stick around, we'll show you how to do it. Hey guys, today's project is we're going to swap out these melamine countertops. They were built in, installed in like 2004 when the house was built. Now 2025, so they've held up really well for that kind of time period, but we want to do a little upgrade. So I'm going to show you how these all come off, including the island and the eating bar here, and then how all the drawers come out, and as well as we're going to look at taking some of the plumbing out because we're having a new undermount sink installed there as well. So if you want to stick around on this kind of a small kitchen reno, but we'll go through step by step of what I did to get it here. Okay, as we get underneath the counter here, you're going to have to see that right in each of the areas, usually there's a screw that's going to hold the countertop down, and depending on who did your actual install, there's usually a number of these screws that are going to go along. You'll find some in the back as well, back into here, and so we're going to go through and take all those screws out and see what we can get from there. Okay, so now we're going to move to the upper part of the island here. Under here, there's again a series of screws all the way through. They're going to remove this bottom section that attaches to your top section of the counter here. So if you take these out, and this other bottom part should still stay there. Okay, so on here, this backsplash usually has like a grout or a caulking, depending what's in there. I'm going to take a razor knife. I'm just going to cut and score this back here so that when I pull this countertop off, it's not going to break away at the actual tiling here. I'm not sure if I'm keeping this yet, but for now, we're going to keep it. We also got a gas stove in this kitchen as well, so I'll show you how that has to come out and disconnect the line. I'm not a plumber. Make sure you get yourself a gas fitter to do it yourself, but I'm going to show you what I've done here as well. Okay, so we're under the sink. We have a few things we need to take care of here before we can get the sink out. The sink is going to stay attached to the actual countertop when we pull it out, because I'm getting a new sink anyways. So, but we have to take our garbage disposal out here. So, but to get to that, I need to get to these rings and these screws. So the carburetor's actually got to come loose in order for this to come down. We're going to have to disconnect our plumbing. So we've got a connection here that we'll be able to work with. And then we have our two water lines here for the sink, the hot and cold water. This line here is for the dishwasher, which is next door, as well as this is the drain for the dishwasher. So we should be able to keep all this connected as far as the dishwasher is concerned. And then this other valve here is for the water line to my refrigerator for my ice maker. So we're going to need to take these two off, this off, this off, and this off. Okay, so just to recap what we've taken off here, we're to the point now I think we can get the countertop taken off once we get it unscrewed. But so we've got both sides of our tap off. We're going to take this part off later once we get easier access to it. That's for the carburetor over here. And we've got the hot line, the cold line. This goes up to our faucet. I've got the power off to the garbage disposal, just to make sure nothing goes wrong while we're under here. And then the trap is off. So this is my main drain over here as well. So as far as everything else from that's attached to the counter, like again, the sink is going to stay as part of the attached. And then once we get the sink out, it'll be easier to get the actual tap out. So we'll do that then. All right, so now comes the treasure hunt. We have to try and find all the screws that are holding this whole section of this part of the countertop down, and you're going to find that they can be creative where they put them, but we'll see what we can find and get them all off. So this is a little easier to get out when you got the sink back here rather than being upside down in the back trying to work your hands into here. So if you have this opportunity to have it out, that's great, but most of the time you don't. Okay, that marks the end of day one. We've got the tear out done. As you can see, it was a bit of a chore. I had a bunch of caulking that was kind of holding this end of the countertop on, so I had to kind of cut in there, but it came off fairly good. And so now tomorrow morning the new countertops are going to arrive, and we'll go through how all that gets kind of put back on. And these are going to be, again, quartz countertops, so it's going to have a different process, I believe, because I don't believe you're going to screw quartz countertops down, so there'll be some kind of adhesive or something used for it, but we'll go through all that tomorrow morning. So far so good. Again, if you got any questions so far, set them down below, and we'll see how things go for tomorrow. Cheers. All right, so what's going on here is he's got these little suction pads that will bring both sides of the seam up to make it level. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here with this razor. I'm going to make sure that it's perfectly level while the resin is curing. So that way we can tell with this machine, all those pieces come up. No need to actually shim underneath. This is going to seal it together, and once the resin is actually cured, it's going to be like one piece of stone. All right, so we're about 3/4 of the way through. You can hear the pump still running here on the device here that it's the compressor, and it sucks the two pieces of the stone together. We're still waiting for that to cure. It takes about half an hour. In the meantime, we're just about ready to start putting the sink from the undermount side. Showed you earlier kind of how it goes into place, but we'll finish it off once we get going here as well. Everything here is just held on by silicone, which is surprising to me. There's no bolt screws or fasteners or anything like that. It's all just set down into silicone, and then that's what keeps it there. If we look up underneath here, this is just, they just run a silicone bead in here and around, and that's all they do to hold it in place. So pretty happy so far how it's working out. We'll see once we get the sink in, and then once they're done, I'll be able to get back in there and put all the plumbing back in, as well as the garbage disposal and whatever else needs to be done. But, so now we're just waiting for this compressor to time out and for their curing to happen. So, well, one of the things that they were doing here, you're showing me, is that this here is some of the resin they were using for inside there, and they can just tell by how hard this is getting here by how hard it's going to be in the actual seam. So, and then they have some extra resin here as well that they will use to put on the top of the seam, and then they'll sand that out. We'll show you how that's going to look afterwards as well. But so far it's coming together pretty good. Okay, countertops installed. They said I gotta wait 24 hours for all the silicone and everything to set properly. That was our local company, Vanway Cabinets, that put that in there, so shout out to those guys, did a really good job. And also worked with me exactly what I needed and wanted as well. They were pretty good. Highly recommend those guys. So I have to wait again 24 hours before I can do any more of the plumbing as well because of the silicone setting. So we're gonna just press pause on this until tomorrow, and then we're gonna crawl into that sink, put all that crap back together, and then I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll show you what the finished product looks like. Cheers. All right, so it's the next morning. All the silicone and all the resin should be well cured by now. So now we're gonna look at putting our sink, tap, and all the plumbing back to work and back in for there. And then we'll see how all that's gonna operate. And I'll just quickly go through and show how that's happening. They just drilled a single hole here for me for the faucet, which is good. And then here we had a little trouble yesterday with that seam, trying to get that seam to disappear. They've done a pretty good job of it now. And other than that, now I've got to crawl back into this stupid hole and try and get all that working. So let's go take a look. So a lot of new taps and baskets and sinks come with like a rubber seal. I find that probably 75% of the time they're going to leak and you can't really get them tight enough. My go-to is always plumber's putty. So it's just like using Play-Doh when you're in kindergarten. So you're just going to roll out some of the plumber's putty and you're going to place it around on here. When we sit it down, it's going to shrink or compress and fill in all the gaps and make that watertight. So I'll show you how that looks, and we'll go underneath. We're going to seal up the bottom part of the garbage disposal first. We'll work on that, and then we'll get to the rest of the plumbing. And you want it to be able to squish out a little bit. That way we're just going to remove that after, once we get this all in place, and tighten from underneath. Okay, so once you get that tightened up there, you're going to see your plumber's putty has all squeezed out, and that's good. That's what you want it to do. This will all just pop off here afterwards, but it knows that you made it all the way down and squeezed everything out. So that's basically what you want to see. You want to make sure that's staying level in there, which is what we got, so that's good. Okay, before we get any deeper under there and get stuff on our way, we'll hook up the tap and the water lines and get that all set up. So the next luxury is trying to connect these lines. What generally happens with these lines is that as you put these on, they are twisting as you're twisting. So if you do yourself a favor and give them a little bit of a twist the opposite direction before you start, or have something to hold them right here on the clamp, that's going to give you a little bit of purchase there. Now you got to try and remember or figure out which one was the cold and which one was the hot. In my case, I know that this one is attached to the dishwasher, so therefore dishwasher only uses hot, so therefore I know I'm going back that way. You could have also labeled it, of course, that would have been a good idea, but I didn't. So and also this valve is going to want to turn, so if you can put a wrench onto the valve just to hold it in place while you tighten this is also a good idea. Okay, so this is our garbage disposal hose. The key thing about this is that it has to be coming down into the disposal. If this hose has to come back up, you're going to get a bunch of clog here, and all the material is going to go back into your dishwasher. So make sure that when this is coming across, that it's actually going to be coming in a downward motion into the garburator. So it looks like the new sink's coming down a little further than where the old one was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, take a section out that's going to match up for us, and then I should be able to just put a coupler on there to get it back into place. Slim. Oh yeah. There now. So it looks like we're not going to have enough room left on this piece of pipe here coming off the garbage disposal. So these are just a replacement you can get for a regular drainage tap. So I'm going to pull this off and we're going to go down and pick up another one. Okay, so give everything a couple minutes to cure and then we'll run some water through it, see how lucky we get. So once we put some water through, looks like we had a bit of a leak here, and one down here, just had to tighten that one up, seems to be holding now. But this one, as we looked at a little further, looks like there's actually a crack in this little cover. So I went out and picked up another one, so now we just got to take this whole thing off and replace that. Even worse, this thing is broken. Yeah. Look what else I found. Well, sorry, isn't that a screw around? So good thing when I went to Home Depot the last time, I got some extra parts. So I got a part for that, so we're going to swap that out and then we'll get back to it, see how that works. All right, new one installed. Back to square one. Okay, that's that. Plumbing done, no current leaks, so we'll just keep an eye on that over the next few days, just to make sure things don't change. But that crack coming off the Garbage disposal was definitely a problem, so we got that figured out now. And everything else seems to be working, so we'll give that some time to make sure. And otherwise, I'd probably have to replace this part of the downspout because it doesn't really line up perfectly as much as we like, just because of the way the different sink has come in. But you also want to make sure you check the fittings on your water inlets, which I did. They're all dry, so that's a good way to tell. You can just look underneath here, each one of the items. You can see if there's any water dripping down. And then again, you showed with the level, you always want the slope to be going down into the away from the drain, so away from here, and both are doing that, which is what we want. So as you can see, working on that plumbing is super ideal for getting in there and upside down and trying to work on stuff, especially when you're my age and got the, you know, the creaking bones. But we got in there, we got her done. It's now beer o'clock, and we'll do the rest of the cleanup and take a look at this tomorrow. Cheers. Hey guys, so we got the countertops in. We're going to go through that, but we have some backsplash to put in. We're going to go through that today. Lucky enough is that, so our old countertop had the built-in backsplash that you probably saw in the beginning of the video, so that leaves us this gap down here. We were actually able to find somebody who had the exact match for our backsplash, so we picked some of that up. And we're just going to run this along the bottom here to finish off what we have, rather than ripping it all off, putting some new stuff in, because it's only put on a few years ago anyways, so it should be pretty good. So we're going to go from there and see how that goes. Alright guys, we're on the next day. All the tiles have set. Now we're going to put some grout in there. That's the next step. If you're wondering why I'm not giving you a lot of detail on the tiling, is because I'm a bit of a hack at it, so I don't think I'm in the best position to give you guys advice on how to do tiling. So maybe on another day, another video, I'll see if I can come up with something a bit better, but until then. So we're going to finish off the grouting today and then some sealing tomorrow, and that should be about it for that. So see how it goes. Well guys, there you have it. That about wraps up this project. New countertops, new sink, new plumbing, new backsplash. One of my longer videos. Leave a comment down below if you got anything out of these longer videos, or if you prefer the shorter ones, and I'll take a look at those. And other than that, I think it's been a pretty good project, pretty successful. If you got any questions or comments otherwise, go ahead and leave them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.